So let's just settle into our meditation posture. And however it is you're turning up this evening, it's just totally fine. Whether there is sadness arising in your mind, grief, sense of loss. And you know we're in autumn now, so we're moving into a time of transition. As the seasons move, our relationships are changing, work may be changing, and as a couple of you here seeing here right now, close to you, people are moving on to another place. So change. And it can be a little destabilizing for the heart. So it's always good to come back to the breath, to sit down and regroup. So just bring your mind in to the place where you're sitting. And check your feet. This is also quite grounding to do this practice. Check your feet, your sits bones, hands in the meditation mudra. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just very gently lengthening your spine. And very gently tip your head very slightly forward, just putting a bit of length at the back of the neck. Eyes are down. If they were open, you'd be looking at a spot about a couple of inches in front of you. And the tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. And just relax the jaw. And just bring your attention to the crown of the head and relax the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, the nose. And the cheeks. The mouth. Bring your attention to the back of the head and relax the scalp there, the occipital bone. Relax the ears, the inner ear, the temples, the jaw, the back of the tongue. Just release any energy, any tension in the back of the neck and the shoulders, and allow the shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat, the chest, the belly, limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes, and bring the mind to the breath. Just noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. A little bit cooler as you're breathing in. And just check if there's any sounds in your environment. Just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to follow them with your mind. And just notice what it is that is distracting you. And then notice what thoughts are arising. And try and put some space in between them. And try not to have opinions or make up stories. Just allowing the thoughts to arise and abide and flow on. And we just put ourselves on the bank of the river as we watch this river of mental moments flow on by. Without discrimination, without judgment, without opinions. With objectivity, like just a scientific observer. And while we're sitting on the bank, we're free from being swept away. We're free from being entangled. So let's just bring to mind all those people of our life, our loved ones. And for a couple of us here this evening, 2 people who are coming towards the end of their life. And then there's those people in our lives who we have a little bit of difficulty, maybe they create a bit of agitation in the mind. And then there's those strangers, people we see every day on the freeway. And as I was coming home this afternoon, there was a bit of blocked traffic. And then we came upon the emergency service vehicles and the police cars. And in the middle of the road was 2 shoes. There had a person been. I don't know what had happened, but they were taking photos of those shoes, the position of the clothes. So I just assumed it was a person, maybe had been run over, or a bike or something. So that person was a stranger to me, those shoes I didn't recognize. But to somebody, the person in those shoes was their loved one, their beloved, maybe their child. I don't know. But all those strangers brought home to me have someone who loves them, as does their enemy. So they're all equal. We're all equal. We all wish to be happy. We all wish to be free from suffering. And we all have this unbelievable capacity for this enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life. They're thinking of Nicholas and Chris as well, particularly. And let's just have a thought for Stephanie, who's still recovering from concussion. So I think there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, so we can equally change it by creating positivity with our mind. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And you can think of perhaps specific actions of your body and your speech. And the reason to regret is based on the logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience some kind of suffering in the future. And we already know what suffering is about, how uncomfortable it is. So perhaps we don't want it. So logically it would make sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret their anger, our delusions, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think, I am sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So we take refuge, rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods we can use to purify. And we're not asking or needing Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods, taking his medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, facing the same way as you. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he is made radiant, blissful, white light, almost translucent. He's sitting cross-legged on a white lotus, which, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. He has this beautiful radiant face. His eyes are long, shaped like lotus petals, and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, so the very beings we have harmed. So just bring to someone to mind that you've harmed in the past, and develop a sense or a wish for them to be free from suffering. And then think about people who've harmed you. May not be the same person, maybe there's been different people who have harmed you, maybe small harms or large harms, and have compassion for them because they're going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done. So make a strong aspiration to this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And next we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. So we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, sort of like coming out of a hose very forcefully from his heart, and this arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body and filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kamasita me siddham shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dudu me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kamasita me siddham shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dudu me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kamasita me siddham shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dudu me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kamasita me siddham shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So be delighted that all the harm you may have done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. And this includes maybe accidentally squashing little ants and flies and mosquitoes. I think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So the next is the purification of speech. And again, Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body. Except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine all the gossip, harsh speech and useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dudu me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kamasita me siddham shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dudu me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kamasita me siddham shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dudu me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kamasita me siddham shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dudu me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kamasita me siddham shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dudu me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kamasita me siddham shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dudu me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kamasita me siddham shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Dudu me boa sutokaya me boa supokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa siddhi me piyata sawa kamasita me siddham shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tathagata vajramame mutta vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And the next is the purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and switch on a light. That light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So it's the same here as when the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart. All the darkness of the negativity of the mind, all the attachment and neediness and anger and depression, resentment and jealousy and bitterness, all instantly dispelled, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame Sidam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame Sidam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame Sidam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame Sidam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame Sidam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame Sidam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame Sidam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Aham Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering, are delusions. The cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech are totally purified. And think now, there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. So now you can imagine, if you wish, you can recite a couple of mantras for each of those visualizations of the body, the speech and the mind. Or if you just want to relax a little bit more, just imagine light and nectar pouring in, filling you completely, and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kamasitame Sidam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Didu Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sritam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Didu Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sritam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Didu Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sritam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Didu Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sritam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Didu Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sritam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Didu Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawa Siddhi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sritam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So now you feel you're completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So next is the power of resolve, and this is the fourth step in the purification process. This is a really crucial one, this determination to try to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this, we're going to keep doing the same old things over and over again, the same old habits. So we just make a decision, we just decide, I'm going to work on something. I'm going to take my speech, for example, or maybe eat too many chocolate chip cookies, or whatever it is you do that's harmful to yourself or to others. And think maybe I'll refrain from this for a day, for 5 minutes, for 30 seconds, whatever you can manage. And Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE calls that union oneness. So next Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. And so whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. So in this way we can see as all phenomena as being empty. They don't exist from their own side. And you can also think that perhaps the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. O Tup Shul Chang Jin Jam Gon Galloway Tenzin Kyang Pelway Kunza Dog Porze Chog sum gur we leg mon tu dru. Pa dag sog dulaje kondu jab ten shok. For Lama Ursel, the number one, choose kindness exceeds out of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. Geshe share a beloved teacher leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everybody. Thank you so very much. Lots of love, sweet dreams, and there's Source. Did he fall asleep again?
Yes, he did.
That is so good. It's so sweet. Except for when you give him chocolate biscuits beforehand.